Hey, Bo. Girl, you spelled my name wrong, but I done found Jesus, so it's all right. I have been talking to this guy for 1.5 years, almost 2 years, and I want it to go further. We don't regularly communicate as much as I would like, and I don't want to feel like I'm the only one who wants this. Thirsty. She said that, not me, y'all. I'm not calling her thirsty. I just want to know how I should go about further communication and show him how much I care and love him. I love him because he inspires me and motivates me. You know, when people ask me about men, honey, when people ask me about guys in their life, I try to keep a level head about it, and I try not to be too involved, because not all men are the same. Some men do not know how to communicate. Some men have to literally be told what you need from them, and so sometimes it's okay. But what I know from men that I've spoken to, men that I've had conversation with, not like relationship wise, but just in general, is that they all say the same thing about knowing somebody is for them, and they just are not going to let this person get away from them. And one of the ways they do that is obviously through their words, but most times it's through their actions. And sometimes your actions and your words don't add up. They don't match. Some guys need a little bit more push than others, but at the end of the day, every guy has said these words, when you know, you know. And for women, it's the same. When you know, you know. Like, when I look at how Shooter and I came together, I know that it was divine. I know that there was a reason for it. And further confirmation that there was a reason for it was our children. And with your situation, you've been talking to this guy for 1 year, almost 2 years, but he's not said to you, I want to be in a relationship with you. And you might not want to be the person to say, hey, like, what is this? Because nobody wants to ask that question. Even guys don't want to ask that question. But with my personal relationship, and I think a lot of other women go through this too, the guy really initiates it and tells you, you are my wife 2 days in. Like, I'm going to marry you. And you look at him like, fool, you is bat crazy. I ain't nobody's wife. And later on, there's so much power in your tongue, which is my last video that I uploaded. It comes to pass. Shooter used to call me his wife all the time, and I was like, I'm not married to anybody, because he hadn't even asked me to be his girlfriend. So I was like, how are you calling me your wife? I'm not married, honey. I'm your wife, but I'm still single because you didn't ask me to be your girlfriend. And he would get mad. But he was literally speaking it into existence, because now we are literally married. I am his wife. He is my husband. That is what it is. Most men, if they're serious about you, they're not going to talk to you for 1.5 years, 2 years. Max you're going to get is like 4 to 6 months of just talking, you know, getting to know somebody, dating without anybody else in the picture. And then finally they say, okay, I know it feels like we're together, but I want to make it official. I have to ask you to be my girlfriend. You know, they take you to a nice restaurant. They take you to the movies, whatever. Take you to the movie, shawty. They take you anywhere, and they let you know, like, it's just me and you now, baby. Like, they let you know. So the fact that he hasn't let you know, and it's like been 2 years, I think you have to say something, even if you don't want to. Be like, hey, we've been talking for like 1.5 years, and don't be afraid of the rejection, honey. We've been talking for almost 2 years, and I don't know if I'm reading things wrong, but to me, I feel like we're in a relationship. But correct me if I'm wrong. And if we are in a relationship, please let me know, because we need to do something to commemorate it or make it official. We can't just be acting like we're in a relationship and we're not. You didn't mention if you guys have done anything together or if it's just been talking. I don't know if it's online or whatever. But you have to set that ground. You have to know what you're working with, because you could essentially be wasting your time. And if you have been talking for this long and you find out that he has a girlfriend and he's just been looking at you as friend, why he doesn't really communicate, you need to know so that you can get who God has for you and not who you've been trying to get. Like, you have to realize that time is of the essence, and that is not something that you can waste any more of. So you have to know if you guys are going to make it official, if you guys are already official. And he's like, awkward, because I thought we was dating, I didn't know, but if you need me to communicate better, then I'll do that. But from the sound of this email, girl, I wouldn't say y'all are an item. I could be wrong. And it could just be that, well, no. You guys are not together, because no guy in 2019 isn't talking to their girlfriend every day. You have to talk to your significant other regularly. And if you come up on my comment section talking about, no, me and my boyfriend don't communicate every day. Well, that's problematic. If you care about me, you better stop in the middle of tying your shoe and text me and tell me, I was just thinking about you. What it do, boo? What it do, baby? Like, you better just check on me at least once a day and make my heart flutter if you want to be with me. If you want to be my lover. Okay, so that's where my head is at. I'm not you, you're not me, but I'm not going to let somebody talk to me for almost 2 years, not regular communication. Like, you're not thirsty. You need to know. I would have taken the hint long time ago, but some people don't because they get mixed signals, but you don't have time for mixed signals, okay? This is not mixology 101. Ain't nobody got time for mixed signals or mixed drinks. Just tell me what it is so I can either A, move on, or B, let's get this communication in order so that we can serve each other in this relationship and it's not a one-way street. Hallelujah. Hi, Bo. My name is Anna. I'm 18 and I have been watching you for so many years. You're like an older sister to me. I'm having problems being by myself. I'm so used to having people there and talking to me, and I just feel so empty now. Y'all gotta stop looking for validation in other people, from other people. Y'all have to start with yourself. Then look it up, girl. Look up and be like, feel me, Holy Spirit. You know what I find? I could eat till I'm blue in the face. Yesterday was Christmas. We had a whole lot of food, girl. I could eat till I'm blue in the face, but food only nourishes the body. It does not feed the soul. Even soul food can't feed your soul. Soul food just gonna make you tired and fat. So I realized that as full as I am in the natural, no matter what I'm doing, I feel a sense of emptiness if I don't get a word from God. If I don't have a minute of silence, not just 1 minute, many minutes of silence where it could just be me and God and what he has to say to me, I feel like I have not been filled. I feel that way. And the only way I get it is if I go and spend time with my Lord and Savior. And so I know to some people it might be strange, but I don't care. It is what it is. This is how I live my life, and I never realized it until I started my journey that, wow, I get filled up, honey. When I go and I say, Jesus, I'm here. Come down, homie. Let's do this thing. And I feel his presence, and I start reading or I start listening to a sermon, whatever it is, listening to gospel music, listening to any music that uplifts me. It doesn't have to be gospel, but just listen to something that touches me internally. That's where I get fulfilled. That's where we have to get fulfilled, because I can't look to my husband, to my kids, to my mom, to y'all. I can't look to anything outside of God to fulfill me. If I do that, I'm never gonna get the fulfillment that I need because I'm looking in the wrong places. You know that saying, we search for love in all the wrong places? Well, that's what you're doing. You are being isolated, again, because you're set apart, and you're not realizing the opportunity that you have to transform and elevate to a whole other level of self. Because you're afraid of being alone. Don't be afraid of being alone. Love and live in your isolation. Appreciate your isolation. Unless it's from an abusive partner that is trying to isolate you, girl, run. But other than that, being isolated is good. Let me continue. I had my hoe days. I never had sex or anything, but I would talk to a lot of guys. See, don't be labeling yourself with those kinds of things. You're not a hoe, you weren't a hoe. Don't label yourself like that. The last guy I seriously talked to was in January of 2018, and he ghosted me, which left me with so many trust issues. Again, looking for validation in the wrong places. If he ghosted you, appreciate it. Lord, appreciate when you get rejected by jobs, by men, by women, by friends, by family. Appreciate it. Praise God for the rejection and watch yourself soar. Anyways, I tried to talk to people here and there, but I get bored and I'm honestly picky now with who I choose to communicate with. It's just hard because I feel so ugly sometimes. Okay, you gotta do a whole internal rejuvenation, girl. Get out of your own head. Stop allowing the enemy to lie to you. There's nothing ugly about you. Nothing ugly about you. I just tried to see if your Abby was there, girl. I can't tell if that's anime. It looks like anime. It's not you. Like, yeah, I act confident in front of people, but I'm honestly really insecure. No matter what I do, guys will never be interested in me. It's really discouraging me, and I know you're going to say I shouldn't be looking for guys, but I can't help it. You can help it. You're choosing to not help it because you're trying to pacify yourself. You want to feel sorry for yourself. Woe is me. I feel ugly. That's not who you are. You're not ugly. What's ugly is internally how you're feeling about yourself. Whoever told you that is a liar, and you have to say, Satan, I rebuke you. Get behind me, Satan. Ugly where? I've gone through the same thing. I thought I was ugly. Girl, I'm not. You thought you were ugly. Girl, you're not. Period. And I'm not going to let anybody that emails me tell me these things anymore, because the transformation that we have to do is literally internally. I talked about this. And so as much as you may also be a person that's not spiritual, may also be a person that does not believe, blah, 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 blah. I don't care at this point. At this point, what I'm telling you is actual factuals. All of the things that you're trying to feel, all the validation you're trying to get comes from within. Only God can give you the peace that you're searching for. You have to have peace with how you look. You have to seek him, and he will show you not only how he sees you, but he will show you who you're supposed to be, so that you don't feel like you are the things that you're speaking over yourself. Speak life over yourself. Tell yourself, I am beautiful. I am worthy. Tell yourself those things. Uplift yourself. Lay hands on yourself. Speak to yourself. Do not say another negative thing about yourself. Only speak good over your life. Only speak positivity over your life. Write down on paper the things that you want to believe about yourself. Write down on paper the things that you are trusting your mind to believe, trusting God to place down on the inside of you. Take those things, write them on paper, and keep writing them until you don't have to write them anymore, because they are actual factuals. That's what we have to do, because a lot of us are in places where we feel like it's never going to get better, but it's a lie. That is a lie from the fiery pits of hell, girl. And I don't mean to preach to y'all, but this is the thing that are sitting on my spirit. I hate getting messages like this, especially from women, because who told you you were even allowed to have the opinion that you are ugly, or that guys are never gonna like you? Why do you feel this way? You have to look within and find the source, and then forgive the source and tell the source to leave you alone. If it was your daddy or your mother that told you that started that planted that seed, stop watering it. Because what they say, what anybody says, has no merit. It has no weight. It cannot sit on you, because if God didn't say it, then it's not true. Period. If God didn't tell you you were ugly, then it's not true. And God wouldn't tell you you were ugly, because God is very confident, okay? He's confident in all his skills. And when he crafted you in his image, nothing about you said ugly. Nothing about you was imperfect. Nothing about you was unworthy. When God crafted you in his spirit, he said these things. He said it is good. And here you are saying it's not good. I talked about this just the other day. You guys have to dive in and find yourself, who you're supposed to be, and stop thinking about who you are and who they told you were. Forget that. Bump that. That's a lie. Take what I'm telling you right now and apply it. The more you tell yourself you're ugly, the more you're going to believe it. The more people try to come in and cast doubt, the more you're going to believe them instead of what you know to be true. And so the more you tell yourself you're beautiful, the more you'll start to believe it, and then you won't have to tell yourself anymore. All the people I'm surrounded with are having experiences and getting boyfriends, and it's upsetting. Can you give me some advice on how to handle this? Or I don't know, I just need some guidance. So if you do read this, thank you so much, and love to you. I don't know if I can say anything else, but you seem to have a lot of things going on internally that you have to pray about. And sorry if you don't want to pray. Sorry if you don't know what to pray. But just go and start talking, speaking out loud, and saying what you want God to fix in your life. Or saying what you want to fix in your life, what you need to fix. Say you're insecure and you don't want to be anymore. God, I give it to you. I feel ugly, God, and I know it's a lie, but for whatever reason, I keep believing it. I give it to you. I'm unhappy internally. I give it to you, Lord. Fill me with peace to be okay with myself, because you made me and I'm perfect. And anybody that tells me the opposite of that is a liar, and I rebuke them, period. You have to start to speak to your own self and allow God to transform you. Then you have to start diving into other places that are deeper, like your Bible, and reading and seeing yourself in the characters in the Bible, the good ones, the bad ones, it doesn't matter, and the lessons that you learn through reading that. And then walk with your head high and stop telling yourself that what Cindy and Josephine have going on is better than what you have going on. Forget that. You are not supposed to compare yourself to anybody, because guess what? What you have is special and unique to you. Therefore, you don't need to look at anybody else, what they have going on, because they might be upset about something that you know nothing about because they've not shared it with you. So stop looking at other people and comparing yourself and saying, oh, my friends have this and my friends have boyfriends and I don't. You're the odd man out. Appreciate it. Appreciate it and start spending time with yourself so that you don't need to find the validation from social media and from your friends and from people having boyfriends and not having boyfriends. Get in tune with who you are. There's nothing wrong with being alone. And you know what? One of the greatest things being alone can teach you is how to be happy without needing somebody else to do it for you. Lots of people look to their spouse or their friends for validation. You're probably looking to me right now for validation that you're beautiful, but I didn't need to tell you that, because deep down inside, you know that you're beautiful. You don't need me to tell you that. You just enjoy feeling sorry for yourself. So you accept the lies and run with them. Well, I'm telling you that those days are over. And when I get in my prayer closet tonight, I'll be praying specifically about your situation. So you go and pray about it too and watch God transform your life, because both of us came into agreement together and said the spirit of depression, the spirit of loneliness, the spirit of ugliness has been lifted off of you in Jesus' name. There's no more feeling sorry for yourself. No more woe is me. No more listening to the enemy's lies. All that stuff is dead and gone, girl. You don't have time for it. Tell the devil, back up off you. When you start looking in the mirror and you hear a little voice say, you're so ugly, just be like, bump that. I would say the other things y'all know I used to say, but I'm gonna say that. But that's what you have to say. Say, back up off of me, because you're a liar and I don't believe it. And then say, praise Jesus, and watch that thing be like, hold on now. That's just what's gonna happen. Hi, Bo. First, I would like to remain anonymous. I'm currently dating the most wonderful guy I've ever met. He's an Aquarius. that's how I feel about that. Okay, I didn't need to be all extra and throw my phone talking about some Aquarius. I'm sorry, y'all. Old habits die hard. And he treats me so well, and we can talk literally about anything and everything. The problem is that I live in Jamaica and he no longer lives here. He moved to New York and only visits on the holidays. We talk every day, and I'm making arrangements to move to America as well, as that was the plan prior to meeting him. However, I will not be moving anytime soon. Do you think it is worth the distance? Now, I don't know, child, because New York has some really pretty girls. Okay, and I don't know your dude, but I highly doubt he's gonna stop living his young life in America. The Jamaican accent was rated, I think, either first, second, or third sexiest accent in the world. I think New York was high on the list too. I love me a New York accent. Hey, New York. I don't know what to tell you about the distance of your relationship. My opinion about long distance relationships has always kind of been biased, and even though I'm looking at this with a fresh pair of eyes, you know, who's for you cannot miss you. If you're not supposed to be with him, then chances are he'll fall out of your life. And I have to say, the fact that you guys started your relationship and then he had to move, that could be him falling out of your life. Or it could be a chance for you to discover who you are and then later revisit the subject of if you guys are supposed to be together. You might not be attracted to him once you start looking at yourself and changing yourself. So maybe you should take this as an opportunity to do that. As far as the relationship goes, see where his head is at, and maybe you guys just want to have an open relationship, which makes absolutely no sense. So I mean, hey, shout out to the open relationships out there, but couldn't be me, okay? Could not be me, honey. In my personal and very humble opinion, I think that the distance, if your relationship is meant to be, it won't matter. But I think that you should just evaluate a few things and keep the door open. The door is closed. Keep the door open. Don't make any rash decisions. Don't make any decisions based around him. Like, don't be moving to New York because he moved to New York. Like, you have to know that something is for you. And perhaps you're not supposed to be in Jamaica for the rest of your life. I hope you're not looking at him as your scapegoat or him as your ticket, because that can cloud your judgment too. So you have to really assess yourself first and then revisit the relationship. You can keep contact, of course, because once you do move, if you move to New York especially, you'll know somebody there and it'll be easier for you to get around because he's been there a while longer than you. Also, plan a trip and visit and see how his reaction is to you staying with him while where he is at, or if he's like, oh, like, so you're gonna book an Airbnb? You gonna stay at the bed and breakfast, girl? What you gonna do? Because I got company. Like, like, you just have to be careful when you're entering into anything like this. But you guys knew each other prior. I don't know how long the relationship was. Also, remember that I know you refer to him as an Aquarius, so remember that Aquarius are very they wishy-washy. Take all your guala. They're wishy-washy type people. They seem to have a lack of emotion, but it's really the opposite, that they're too emotional and all over the place. A little bit woohoo, a little crazy. So, and you're a Virgo. So, I missed that part of the email. Virgo and Aquarius, girl. That's dangerous. That's dangerous territory. But if he's for you, God will make it work. That you can believe. I think I'm going to do 2 more and then we got to call it a day, girl. I feel like I'm blowing through these though. Hello. Hi, Bo. I've been watching your videos for years now and I'm especially loving your new content regarding your spiritual journey, as I find myself on the same journey. Your videos have been extremely comforting to me the last few months, and at this moment, I just finished rewatching your 7 Deadly Sin video on gluttony. It's funny you mentioned that. When you're talking about writing the devil on a food or object that we consume too much of, I couldn't think of anything physical, but I do find myself constantly consumed in thought of a person who I thought was my soulmate. So it's funny that you mentioned that part in particular, because the way that thing has impacted my life, every single time I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, okay, maybe I should buy some peach rings, the video pops in my head and I literally can't buy the peach rings, and I'm like, I had to go and do that, huh? I'm really not supposed to have peach rings because I have no self-control with peach rings. So until I can get self-control together, I'm not allowed to eat that thing. I don't think I probably won't be able to ever buy peach rings again because the self-control aspect of it, I don't think I'll ever be able to get self-control over the peach rings. So every time at the grocery store, I literally just see the devil. And I never even physically took a package of peach rings and wrote the devil on it. I just had a mental note of it. And so now every single time I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, okay, should I go get some peach rings? I literally just see the devil flash into my head, and I can't buy them. I can't bring myself to buy them because I feel like I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. So it works. Anyway, girl, that done impacted my life. Person I thought was my spiritual partner in this life and the next, and it's been well over 3 years. I haven't been able to kick the idea of us being together. I was wondering if maybe you could talk about how you feel about soulmates and how to separate yourself from the idea of a person, because I know for myself personally it stopped me from doing so much. It stopped me from being myself. Seeing as maybe it could tie into your own spiritual journey and many others, and it would be really awesome to hear your thoughts about it. Oh man, Belle's downstairs crying her eyes out. Oh, you're covered in, what were you eating? What were you eating? Oh my god. Okay, let's breastfeed the baby. So obviously you don't want to refer to the person as the devil unless they were a devil. But the problem, especially with soul ties, is that they're hard to break. And I don't know if you've tied your soul to them, but they've clearly impacted you to a point where you just can't get them out your head. So I think what you have to do now is, again, start looking at yourself. Start paying attention to who you're supposed to be and not who you were and not who you are in this very moment. And the more that you dive into you and into God, the less that this person is going to matter. Because when your spirit starts to evolve and elevate, if you know that person is not on the same level as you and is a person that will take you to dark places. You were eating chicken wings, you smell like barbecue sauce. Is a person that will take you to dark places or just unhealthy places in general, the more your spirit will let go of them. Remember, you have to cut that rope that's attached to your back and everything you've been through and everything that you are holding on to that doesn't serve you or serve God. You have to let it go. So I know it's a process that's easier said than done, but you too have to forgive yourself for holding on to this thing or this person when you know that you guys are just not meant to be. Also, if you don't feel, nice burp mama, if you don't feel like you had closure with this person, then you also need to, one, write it down that you need closure from this person, but two, if you reach out to them and just have a one-on-one conversation or a conversation that tells them how you're feeling and see where their mind is at, and you guys can close the book on a happy note, you will probably find that you'll be okay with not being with this person. Also, don't be blocking your blessings. If somebody else has kind of been showing you like they're for you, and because you're so hooked on this person, you haven't let anybody else in, your healing can be found in the presence of another person. I know that sounds contradictory to what I'm saying about you can't find happiness in anybody but yourself and through God, but sometimes God sends us somebody to get the ball rolling and to take our mind off of somebody else. You have to guard your spirit where that's concerned though. You can't just be like, okay, so we're in a relationship now, let's hump like bunnies. That can disrupt the transformation process. Sometimes you just have to cleanse yourself and stay clean and meditate until further notice. I want to use the example of Russell Wilson and Sierra. They literally saved themselves. They were both celibate until they got married because they didn't want anything to disrupt what they had going on. And for some of us it's hard to do, but I think the deeper we get into our spiritual self, the easier things like that, the easier letting go of fleshly desires becomes, because we're finding out who God has called us to be, and we're accepting it and moving in that direction instead of the directions that we were moving in before. We're taking off wear one, putting on wear two. So for that, I would say usually with your soulmate, you guys have some sort of crazy love story that feels like you were brought together for this purpose and that purpose, and you are not supposed to do life with somebody else. And so for my situation, I know that it was divine intervention, girl, because there's just so many things that I haven't even mentioned on my channel that literally brought Shooter and I together. And the more I dove into my spirituality, the greater vision that I got where that's concerned. Wow, like God really preserved you for me. And it's just so crazy. Like one day I'm gonna share everything else, but y'all gonna have to read it in a book, child. I'm gonna put it in a book. I'm not even gonna put it on YouTube. You gonna have to buy that. But the more I dive into it and the more I see where God was at when he needed to be, from before we even knew each other. I'm talking when Shooter was 15, something that happened, like all these things that God allowed to happen so that Shooter and I would one day meet each other and now be here. I just know that he's my guy, you know? All this noise, Belle? Really? I remember one of my first breakups, which was my first soul tie. It took me a long time to get over that person, but I was able to do it because, one, I was writing down a lot of things in my early teens or my teens, and also because I knew that I literally deserved better, and like I was like so young and dumb. And so I was able to move past that because I used to cry so much about it and be like, oh my God, like I loved him, like all these things. And then as I aged and as I went through more and more life, I was I dumb or was I dumb? Again, you're somebody that needs to rejoice in the rejection of things. Be happy and give God praise and ask God to reveal to you who you should be with. And trust that he's already sent somebody, provided somebody for you to be with. Don't just say that you want to be over this person. Actually believe and know that you want to be over this person. Don't just be giving God lip service, because when you truly are ready to let something go, you let it go. When I was ready to let my bad eating habits go, I posted a video about it so that I would have no choice but to face the demon. So that's what you have to do with every part of life. Belle, you are doing the most. I don't want you to have my makeup. Hey girl, hope you're well and I'm loving the new content on your channel. I've been with my boyfriend for 2 years now and everything is perfect, and I'm sure this is who I'm meant to be with for the rest of my life. The only problem is we live in 2 different countries. He's from my home country, so I visit all the time, and I live in the UK. We plan on getting married and him coming over to where I live. We're both just basically getting ourselves to the point where we can do that, etc. Getting qualifications and stable jobs. The only problem is I'm only 17, but I've always been very mature for my age. We wouldn't really get married until about 2 years from now though, since we're not both financially stable. Oh baby girl, don't do this to yourself. I'm sorry. Don't do this to yourself. It baffles me when somebody that is 17 that hasn't even gone through life yet, you know, thinks this way. And I always kind of chuckle when somebody says they're mature for their age, because it's such an immature thing to say. There's always room for growth. I didn't know that until recently. Well, that's not true that I didn't know it, but I didn't practice that until recently. Once I started to grow spiritually, I started looking at things differently. And so if I were your age and I started to edify myself and grow spiritually. Not saying that you're not growing spiritually, but your spirit literally doesn't have a cap on how far or how much it can grow. So if I were your age and I was growing myself spiritually, I would start looking at my life a little differently, and I would realize that at 17 I don't have it all figured out, because guess what, baby, I'm 27 and I don't have it all figured out. I got 2 kids and I don't have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out. So I know you're saying, this is the guy that I know I'm supposed to spend my life with. I'm not saying you're wrong for that, because I just spoke about, girl, Belle's standing by herself, not leaning. Oh, you fell over, mama. I just spoke another word in my makeup tutorial about, you are just mama. Let me take a picture of her. I just spoke another word about rejecting things that people say to you when God has said something different to you. So if God has said something different to you, girl, ignore me. But if he hasn't, then this word is definitely for you. And based on the fact that you're emailing me, I gotta say it's for you. You know, I didn't come looking for you. You came looking for me. So take what I'm saying, if only with a grain of salt, then with a grain of salt. But know that at 17, there's still a lot of growing to do. And don't put all your eggs into one basket. I'm going to continue. I have no doubt about our relationship. See, don't let me plant seeds of doubt where you know different, girl. And the love we have for each other in regards to why I'm a bit iffy about it. It's just that I'm young. Well, we both are. He is 2 years older than me. And I know this is not what most people my age are doing. Right now, we're both just trying to get our lives sorted out individually in regards to work and careers. Do you think this is a genuine concern, or am I just overthinking things and letting society have too much influence on my life? And what are your thoughts on getting married young? I think everything is not for everybody. So what I personally think about getting married young is irrelevant. Only you know what you're supposed to do where that's concerned. But a lot of the time when people get married too young, it causes problems and friction in their relationship later. I didn't get married until 5-6 years into my relationship. And even though we spent 5-6 years getting to know each other before we got married, we're still getting to know each other, because you're a spiritual being, your spirit is always growing. And so we're always evolving as people. And who you are now, 17, is not who you're going to be at 27. Who he is now at 19 is not who he's going to be at 29. And your mind might change. You may go through some things in life that may alter how you think. And there's just always room for growth. So you can't put all your eggs in one basket when you're that young. You can't make decisions for yourself when you're that young, because it's not really wise to do that. It's not wise to just assume that this is it. Because when I was 17, I thought, this is who I'm going to marry. But God said, no, it ain't. And he had some man over there that I didn't even know existed for me to marry. You know what I mean? And so I thought those things too. I was literally your age, writing in my journal, I'm going to be with this person forever, because they told me that we were going to be together forever. So that's what I thought. I thought I was in love. I thought all these things. And I'm not saying that that's you. I'm just looking at your life from being, I was your age once and I didn't listen. And this is what happened. I went through this, that, and that because I was with the wrong person. It's hard to make a decision when you're that young about who your life partner is. Belle, are you serious, girl? This girl's over here playing drunk. Belle. I am so sorry for all this extra noise, girl. Okay, I'm a mom first. That's my first ministry, motherhood. I don't want to cast doubt where you're concerned. But sometimes we have to just be honest with ourselves and accept that there's always room for growth, and you may outgrow this person or they might outgrow you. It doesn't help that you guys are already apart, you know? And if God decides to bring you guys back together so that you can actually do what you're claiming, then that's beautiful. But you have to be honest with yourself and just know that you can outgrow someone. I've had many friends throughout my life, and I've outgrown many friends. I've outgrown boyfriends. I have even outgrown myself at one point or another. And so we have to look at people in our lives as seasons, of course. Some are in our life for the long haul, and some are there to teach us stuff. And he might be a lesson. He might not be your forever thing. And if everything that I'm saying is wrong, then let it be done with. But if you have been shown that this is your person, I mean, did you ask God? Did you say, God, is this who I'm supposed to be with, or am I in my own way? And once you do that, though, if he says this is not who you're supposed to be with, you will start to see signs. And if it is who you're supposed to be with, you will also see signs. Be specific and tell God, listen, I need a sign from you, because Bo just sat up there and told me that this guy might not be the guy, and I'm so in love with him, and now I'm confused. Well, if you're confused, it's really not your portion, so you should leave it alone. But God will reveal to you exactly what you need to know, whether it's in a dream, whether it's in person, whether it's you were thinking about this person and then they text you just like the other person said. God will show you a sign. And he does this because he wants us to make the right decisions. He wants us to be led by our spirits and not by our emotion. So you have to recognize when it's God and when it's yourself. I really hate being not the bearer of bad news, but I hate being the one to have to say it might not be as it seems, but I'm not really telling you that. I'm more telling you go consult God about it, because you can't leave him out of anything. And so if you consult him and he says yes, do what you gotta do, boo. But if you consult him and he says no, well, figure it out. Either start working on yourself or find a way to have a friendship with this person and know that it's okay to be friends with them, and you don't necessarily have to be with them. You're too young to be like even thinking about who you're gonna be with long term. A lot of the time at 17 and 18, we want to tie ourselves to people. Not even soul ties, but just tie ourselves to people, and we don't realize it, but it's just because it's something to do. It's not really a healthy way to live, to just tie yourself to different people, but you're in your prime teen years where you get to go out with friends and not be in trouble. And like, I used to hate when my friends would have boyfriends that seemed to be controlling or anything like that, where they had to message and be like, oh, I'm going here, like, I'll talk to you later. And the boyfriend would be like, you're always out with your friends. Like, that's how young guys, some young guys tend to think. But I don't know your situation. I don't know how your boyfriend treats you. All I know is that you guys are long distance and that you are planning to spend the rest of your life with this person. But my only advice to you, I guess, in this is just consult God and ask him to show you if this is who you're supposed to marry, or if somebody you're supposed to marry is in Timbuktu doing God knows what with who right now, and y'all are gonna come together in like 3 years. That is basically all I can tell you, because I'm not here to make decisions for you guys. You guys are being led by the Holy Spirit to do whatever it is in your life that you need to do, and I can speak prophetically over your life, and I can speak life into your situations, but I can't make decisions for you, because at the end of the day, y'all got free will and I got free will, but I don't really be using mine these days, okay? I just be like, God, you please, okay? I'm out of this one. It's up to you, Lord. You know what I mean? So that's where I stand. I love you guys all so much. The email is in the description box. There's a lot of emails to get through, but I'm going in order of the order that I received them. Anyway, you guys, like I said, I love you all so much. Thank you for trusting me to give you guys some sound advice. I am praying for everybody that I mentioned today, and I'm praying for you guys always. Even if you didn't email me, I'm always praying for you guys. So whatever you guys are asking God for, know that me and you, we in agreement together, as long as it's for his glory, okay? Don't be praying people be falling out, okay? Don't be doing all that. I ain't in agreement with that. Anyway, you guys, I love you all so much, like I said 100 times already, and I will definitely see you in the next one.